Ready?
Now it's time.
Now it's time. Hi, everybody, and welcome to
The Spirit Code.
I'm Melissa.
And Paul. Next time we should say, I'm Melissa. And
oh, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm Paul.
And I'm Melissa.
It's so, wait, I think we got that wrong again. Okay. So, everybody, what we want to work on today is we wanted to go through an initial consult form. And what I love about these forms is that we are putting together a to-do list and we're simplifying it. Believe it or not, the initial consult form is the way to make this incredibly easy. When you're trying to find your way around and getting a little bit lost, it can become overwhelming. And that's exactly what the consult form is for, is so that you know exactly what needs to be done and you just plug it in and do it. Yeah, so we're going to go through it step by step with you today.
So for us, like when we started working with clients, we just jump around back and forth and try to figure out.
Do you want to show them how messy it is?
No. Okay. Oh, so
we would just take notes.
Yeah.
And it was so sloppy.
And it still worked, but it wasn't organized. And
right.
So we'd take notes each week and track people's progression. But after we started doing it in an organized fashion with, this is what we need to focus on.
So much better.
And then it just became, it became a lot faster. And when we start working with people, it wasn't like a question of, okay, what do we need to work on right now and try to shoot from there.
Like, what have we done? And then you have to like go back through all your charts and it gets all confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we set down a list, the first consultation, and have each of those things already worked out. And so every following one, what we do is basically we'll go to like the energies portion that we fill out, and then we'll take a look at that and say, okay, let's actually focus on which one of these we need to work on. Or we'll sometimes go back and see.
You're making it confusing. Okay. I love you though.
Makes sense to me. All right.
I'm lost, so I figure someone else might be. So, really, like what he was saying, it gets really disorganized. And with the initial consultation form, what you're doing, like when we weren't using the initial consultation form, we were all over the place with what we needed to do. We were like, oh, did we remember to do the managers? Did we remember about the balls? Oh, shoot, I don't remember if we ever did a wall. I forgot the wall. Like all these little things that it got overwhelming. And even like we didn't have it on the website at that point. We had it all just in our file folders, that we were still putting it together, still organizing it. And so it was very complicated and it took us a long time. And so what we did was we put it together in a list, a to-do list. And that's what your consultation form is. So we're going to share it with you. Hi, Lorraine. So I have everybody on mute, but I really love to hear from everybody. So please remember that this is for all of us. I really love hearing your feedback. I love hearing your comments. So as soon as you have something to say, just literally unmute yourself and jump in the second you can, okay? You're welcome to raise your hand. I think there's a raise hand button, but I just want you to know that you have that freedom, okay? So let me just kind of simplify this. When you're on the site,
well, hold on. Let's let Lorraine know what we're doing. So since you just came on, we're going to go through an initial consultation form for Kathy. And so you'll just be able to, if you want, you can actually go through for yourself and do it at the same time.
But the idea is that we're teaching you how to organize it, how it's such an easy to-do list, and that, and like we were talking to a few of you guys this week, and we were asking how those forms were going, and we just kind of heard from person after person after person that form confused them, and so they were just kind of doing everything scattered and just muscle testing to see what was the most critical thing, and then just going and doing that one item and then just taking notes. And so that's why we've just figured it might be a good idea to go ahead and go over these forms with you so that you understand how easy it is. And going through it together, I think, offers you that support to say, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot because that actually looks a lot easier than I realized. Okay? So when you're here, it's right here, like under the appointment forms. We do have it in training. I'm just going to visit training just because I really need to show you guys a couple changes. Can I show the couple changes real quick first?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're in the training section, all of these are just teaching you different things that I would like you guys to read. These are not typically things you're going to do with a client. It's more learning some of the deeper definitions. But when you go here under videos, we have the basic muscle testing class, which is like 2 hours. So I know it can be really hard to find time to sit down and do that. But we have all of the forms that go along with it, including here's an initial consultation blank form. I want you guys to download that onto your computer. And so what we do is we copy and paste it into each of our clients' folders. And I can show you what that looks like too to organize it. And then this one is once again kind of learning the appointment form and the initial consultation form. And then I've uploaded all of our training, our Saturday classes, the ones that have been done by Zoom that I had recorded. And they're all uploaded here by date. And our sabotage ones, because I'm going to probably do this 12-step multiple times through, each one's going to be based upon the group. So when you click on that, and this is open to everybody. I had originally only wanted open to those particular clients, but I mean the ones that are taking the class, but it got a little complicated. So we decided to leave it open to everybody. So this is where we are in our sabotage steps. I just highly recommend that if you're going to do them, doing it with a partner, and that's what the group is for. Okay, can I just show a couple other changes?
Go ahead.
Okay. So when you're on the main page, we have uploaded a few things this week. Because we're working really hard on getting the main Spirit Code training class book manual thing put together. Our mentor told us we need to change the title, not just call it a manual, that we need to call it like a training
worksheet or something.
No, it was bigger than a worksheet. Yeah. Anyhow. So what we've done is we've been like kind of recognizing things that needed to be added that we had in our folders that we hadn't uploaded yet. And so one thing is when you go to the sensory energies.
Those haven't all been updated yet.
Right. So we're going to have a whole grid for you, just like the dark energies. And so we're in the process of linking all of these, but all of the sensory energies, instead of having them up here as their own separates, and so having the death, anxiety, emotional trauma, they're all going to be down here in a grid, and it'll be a clickable grid just like in the dark energies, and it'll have each of those spelled out for you. Because we had all of these, we just didn't upload any of them. We only uploaded, the ones that we felt were the best. And then same thing with the confused energies. Is that linked at all?
I think it is. Give it a try.
Okay. The confused energies and the sleep energies. Yeah. Okay, and we're working on that grid also. So these should be done here for you really, really soon. And the sleep energies, I don't think anything's actually linked in there yet, because I'm still working on. We're very particular before we actually upload anything. We work really hard on making sure it's the way that Heavenly Father wants us to do it. And so sometimes it takes us days and days and days to perfect each one. So when you see one write-up, you can basically assume it probably took us a couple of weeks to do each one. And there's so many on here, so be very careful.
Can't guarantee all the grammar and the spelling's accurate and right and whatnot, but all the information is good.
Right, there are a few mistakes, human error. So what we did was we organized so that the energies that need to be released are separated now from some of the energy sessions that you can do that that are a little bit bigger. That's not necessarily like, do you have a trauma energy? Yes. How many? Which kind? And then when you come down here, you don't say, do you have a hands-on neuro technique? You come down and you check to see if this is something that they need. Do they need a full release? Do they need to do the absorbing energy of the core belief shift? So we just kind of separated those out a little bit for you. And then let's go back to this page. Did we make any changes in any of the other sections?
Not quite yet.
Okay, the other ones haven't been uploaded.
Yeah, so we are working on the miraculous opportunities along with the advanced practitioners.
Yeah, the advanced practitioners. We have a big long list of stuff, but I just don't want to overwhelm you guys. So just let me know when you're ready. But we don't have all those linked up yet. Okay. Do you want to show something?
Oh, and actually, even in the preparatory steps, I made a lot of updates to them, but I haven't uploaded those to the website yet. So just small changes, but a few here and there just kind of add up to a lot.
So I wanted to tell you that when you go click on the appointment forms here, you have the regular appointment form and the initial consultation form. So the appointment forms, these are the ones that you'll do for every appointment after your initial appointment. And what we do is we want to keep track. We want to have their name, their date. If this is you, if this is your husband, if this is your kids, if this is your cousin, if this is your friend, if this is whoever, you want to keep track of these things. And they want to see what you're doing. Just like Kathy said when we were talking to her about muscle testing her today, she was like, can you send me something? And yes, that's absolutely what everybody wants to see. They don't like, when you do a session with somebody, they don't really just like unorganized notes. So that's why we put this together, is because we want you guys to use these. And we have them linked right here, so you can download it to your computer. And we just have the copies that we put in each person's folder, and then we date the appointment that we're doing at that time to organize it. So on each of these forms, like this is just going to be your grid just to kind of take notes. I don't put a lot in here. I would just say the dark energy, the emotional trauma, the 2D, we did a parasite treatment. We did the mind subconscious suggestions. Like I just kind of take notes here. And the reason why these basic testing ones are here is to make sure that nothing wonky has happened since your last appointment. These are going to be, you know, just kind of managing, seeing the change, if you need to do any cleanup work. And then these are optional. When you do the homework stuff, we have it in here because we find that it's beneficial to kind of have a plan. Because when you're done with your appointment, if you have another one coming up, you can just be bombarded by what you're doing. But if you have a plan, you know what follow-up stuff you need to do, it's really beneficial. I kind of think that the homework should also have like a tapping, like a number in there with the tapping. So let me have the mouse real quick. So under the affirmations, you guys, you know that all the affirmations, that they're all uploaded in the self-sabotage link. And then I sometimes, if I've already sent it to them before, I'll just get rid of this. And it depends on the person. Like if they're not ready to learn how to clear their space, just take that off. If they don't have, you know, if they're overwhelmed by just the appointment, I'll take all of this off. And I'll just give them some affirmations, some really basic, just muscle test and affirmation. And sometimes, like, I don't even get that much done. Sometimes I just give them a tapping sequence. And so what we do is on the website, you guys know if you go to the tapping link, let me just make sure everybody knows this. If you go to the tapping link and you're done with your appointment and you say, and especially if you're not like seeing each other and so you can't actually go through the tapping sequence with them when you're doing the energy release, I just give it as a homework assignment. So I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, which tapping sequence do you need? Is it in A? Is it in B? Is it in C? Okay. Is it, and then let's say it's the traumas. So you can go to traumas, and most of them, I would say 95% of them have the video already uploaded. So you click on this, on the share link, and you take this, right? You right click or whatever, copy, and then you come back over here to the form that we're doing. Well, this is a different form, but you just paste it on here. And then that's going to be their homework assignment. Like you can make it so incredibly easy. Like we really, really, really tried, because most people, they're not going to understand the shorthand lingo. And if you're not doing like a Zoom video chat, you're going to have a hard time really walking them through the locations as they're tapping along with you. So giving them the video is helpful. Or doing, like, there is a free Zoom. You guys can all use Zoom for free. We're only paying for the ones that we can do the bigger conferences. So you can have more than one person. So I wanted to kind of bring that up, and then let's go ahead and jump on over. Actually, should we just come up back to the program page? That might be a little bit faster. Okay. So the only reason why I wanted to bring all that up is just to kind of help you guys simplify it in your head a little bit. So when you go to the initial consultation blank form, okay, the one that we have uploaded has all the explanations of each of the steps along with where to find the information. So you'll go to training. Oh, it'll say levels, right? And then you follow through and you go to that section to read up on it and learn about it. On And then just like every single one of them, you can kind of learn where it is. If you're still, you know, wanting to understand what each of these mean, but we're going to go over those in a minute. But like I said, you want to go ahead and download this to your computer, and it'll look like this, minus the tapping sequence that I just put in there. Okay. So this, if you don't have Microsoft Word, I don't know how to convert it. One of our people didn't have Microsoft Word.
You could do it in Google Docs. So it might be
harder. Yeah,
it might be a little bit difficult, but give it a try if you don't have Microsoft Word.
Yeah. Or maybe borrow somebody's Microsoft Word and upload it on your computer. It's expensive. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky because my dad lives nearby, and so we just share in programs. Okay, so what was it? Oh, okay, that's what I wanted to do. What we did, you guys, and I can't really show you too much private, we have on our desktop, we have a whole folder entitled Spirit Code. So when you click on that, this has like all the program and a bunch of stuff that hasn't been uploaded and some that has been. So we have one under clients, a folder we made for clients. And then everybody just has, so let's go ahead and go to Kathy because we just started. Catherine Welch. So, wait, wrong person. Sorry, don't look at the last names. Oh, down here, we kept the appointment form and the initial consultation appointment form. So if you click on initial consult appointment form, you can right click and copy, or you can do Control-C and copy. And then when you go to the person that you're about to do, you just paste it, the initial consultation form in their folder. And then like what I did, I just date it so I can keep it organized. So there you go. That's your initial consult form, and we just get started. So I'm gonna put her name. Are you okay if I use your last name, Kathy? Oh, wait.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead. What was your comment that you would like to make?
This is backtracking a bit. There is a free program called OpenOffice that is like Microsoft Word, and it will read your Word documents, but it's free on the internet.
Yay!
OpenOffice.org, I think, and it does everything. Microsoft Word does the spreadsheets and everything, but it's open source and it's free. So if people want that, they can look into that.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because we did have somebody tell us this last week that was the tricky part for her, is that she just didn't have access to that.
Yeah, tell her look at OpenOffice.
Fantastic. And then Kathy, do you want me to get your email address to send this to you later so that everybody doesn't see it? Or do you want me to go ahead and write it in now? What's your preference?
It's beiteversofhumble@gmail. That's fine. I don't care.
Okay, so be ever so humble. So
BEIT, BEIT.
Okay.
Ever so humble.
Okay. The phone number one went way down there. Okay, it's just not.
Are you going the right way?
No, I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm complicating it a whole lot. Okay, and so you guys, I really, and if I spelled that wrong, let me know, Kathy.
Okay.
So really keeping track of this. When we weren't keeping track of this previously, we went back through and I thought, oh, you know, I want to contact all the people that we haven't heard from in a few months. And I went back through their charts, and anybody before January, before we put this together, it was just notes. I didn't have phone numbers. I didn't have email addresses. Like, I would just ask them for their email address on the session and send it to them, but I didn't document it for my own records. And then I realized I had all these potential people that I could work with longer, or that I could assist longer, or that might be interested in the program. I had a few people who told us that they wanted to learn as soon as we were ready, and I never kept their information. Oh my goodness, it's kind of important. I know that sounds so silly, but keeping this is important. So this will be your form. You can move it around. If you need space, go ahead and take some space. If you need more room in your grid, go ahead and make more room. Like this is for you. If you don't want to send your clients a picture that has us in it, go ahead and change the header and footer. I don't know how to do that, but he knows how to.
Double click on it.
Double click on it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And you can get rid of it, or you can, make your own header and footer. It takes a little bit of time. We go to Canva. That's our favorite program. I don't think I have it up right now. Oops, yeah, messed up my caps lock a little bit there. So we use Canva like all the time. And you can use, you can make your YouTube thumbnail. This is where I make all of my thumbnails. This is where I do anything and everything. We did a really nice, what was it called that we were playing on the television at the energy conference?
Just
like a webinar.
Slideshow.
A slideshow, yeah. So we made our slideshow in this for free. And so I have all of my thumbnails for all of our YouTube. This is just huge. I could really bore you guys going through all of that. Okay. So with Kathy, what I do in this first section is we talk about, what are your experiences? I say, let's say I'm going to actually treat this as if it's an appointment instead of saying I would say this and I would say that. So Kathy, I'm going to unmute you. What is your experience with energy work? What are your complaints, and what are some things that you're hoping to get out of our sessions?
I have been using energy work for the last couple of years in my own life. I feel like
anything that's too private.
I feel like I have some blocks for some issues that I'm working on that I would like help removing. And I would like to know how to use this form so I can start moving faster through the program. Basically the blocks. I just feel like I have some blocks, and that's my main concern right now.
Okay, so
identifying those and knowing where to go from here. And I think this will help me know what path to start on.
Okay. And so when you're working with somebody, sometimes they'll share, I'm having marital trouble. Sometimes they'll say, here's a list of all my diagnoses. Sometimes they'll want to know, well, do you want to know all my prescriptions, all of my supplements, everything that I'm taking? And you know what? It's your choice. It all depends on how much history you want. And how much history you feel is beneficial to them. You don't want to, when we were talking with Carol, who was here doing the hands-on neuro technique with us, she talked a lot about her traumas, a lot about all of the hard things in her life. And we want to be compassionate and let them have that freedom to talk about it. However, we do want to guide the conversation because it's about healing. We're not here as a psychologist. We're not here to we don't have that kind of training. What our training is working on the mentoring and the energy work for these clients. And so I just highly recommend that you're not a doctor, so you can't diagnose. You can't, if they ask you, do I have diabetes still? We can't technically answer that question. Plus your body may not recognize that term.
Yeah. But okay, as one example, you can say that I'm muscle testing that you have excess dense tissue, which is what the body recognizes as cancer. So
but mankind may not. It all depends on the phase. It all depends on the intensity. It's not necessarily a straight out diagnosis. It's just what your body's experiencing.
Yeah. So what you can say is, based upon my muscle testing, it indicates that you have some excess dense tissue. And it's not a diagnosis. And especially if you use that term, the medical industries can be like, well, they have excess dense tissue.
That doesn't mean anything to them.
Exactly. What does that mean to them?
Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So I usually wait to do the grid. This is my to-do list, okay? This grid is going to take you probably 6 months to complete. I don't mean filling it out. I mean, it'll take you 6 months to complete with your sessions with your client. Doing each one, you usually can only do a couple an appointment because you're working on such big energy releases, and we're doing such grand shifts in the body and in the spirit and in the healing dynamic, that we don't want to go too far, because it would take you, like most of our appointments take a couple of hours. We don't usually get through them super duper fast. So it all depends on how much time your client has. I usually want to say, how much time do you have? What is your schedule like today, so that I'm respectful of your time also. Okay, so we will come back to the grid, okay, just because we want to jump on to some of this important stuff here first. Okay, so this is going to be a lot of yes and no and a lot of answers. We're just going to go through it, and we'll explain it as we go through it. But when you're working with a client, I just go through it. And a lot of times they're like, what's this? What's that? What's this? I want to remind you guys how much time it has taken for you guys to learn what you have learned from us. So answering these questions for your client, they're only going to grasp a small percentage. And if you explain everything on this consult form to them, they're going to walk away overwhelmed and completely, they're going to feel like they're, I don't want to say dumb, but I don't know how else to say it. That's kind of the terminology that I've heard before. I've had somebody say, I guess I'm just too stupid, I don't get it. And I'm going, oh, that's not what I want you to take away from this. So I always tell them, you guys, you're not going to understand everything in the form, because I always send them the forms that we fill out each time. And I always make sure that they get to read everything that I've done on them. And that's why you got their email address. Okay, is when you're done, you open up your email and you link it to your email, and I'll show you how to do that too at the end. But anyhow, I always tell them on the initial consult form, don't panic, it's your to-do list. I'll explain it as we go, but if I explain it all right now, it's going to be overwhelming. So I'll just explain it a step at a time, and we'll go through it together. And that this is really, I always say over and over, this is your to-do list. We'll work on it. It just takes some time to get it all accomplished. It's like you don't learn all the mysteries of God all in one fell swoop. You don't learn everything about the Bible and the Book of Mormon all in one quick fail swoop or one meeting. Everything takes time. It takes patience. It takes, I don't know, they almost have to go through it to get it. Like I'll explain one of the steps and they're like, I just don't get it. And then we'll go through it and they're like, oh, that makes sense. But people like to know what to expect. So it's kind of hard. Sometimes you get stuck explaining it and then doing it. And you're going, I wish we could just do it. Just trust me. I promise you, you're going to love it. It's not going to hurt you. It's only going to bring you positive results. But some people just want it explained first. Okay. You want to explain the conscious levels and the subconscious levels? I don't want to take over the whole thing, so I'm going to give it a turn.
All right. So if you're not familiar with the subconscious and the conscious levels yet, they are basically what we call like a level of progression. May not necessarily be the most appropriate term, but it's also kind of like a level of readiness or understanding. And so we do the 1 through 7. That's what we would try to focus on with our clients. And it does go beyond that, but for initial consult, 1 through 7 is really the most appropriate that we want to stick with at that time. And so they may actually be at like level 30 or 40, but just muscle test 1 through 7 and just go with that.
It gets complicated when it gets higher. Really, we only need to know 1 through 7 because it has to do, when you're doing your energy releases, have you guys ever come across, like if you're in the dark energies, where it says level 2, level 4, level 5, that's what they're referring to. So if your client's a 4, you don't want to do a 5, 6, or 7. If they're a 7, you're fine. Just do them all.
Yeah. What it does make a difference in mostly for those higher ones is where you discuss some things in miraculous opportunities. You have some
they
higher
won't be ready
levels
for those.
in that. Okay.
Most of the miraculous opportunity stuff they won't be ready for. Let me just throw something in here. Kids, babies, like a level 1. Most babies, unless they're special needs, are usually much higher. But most babies are level 1. Most teenagers are 3, maybe a 4 if you're lucky. And then like if you're an adult and you're really learning more about yourself and going to the atonement steps, and you're really maturing. And to tell you the truth, this isn't like a hierarchy, like I'm better than you because my level's higher. It's really just a measurement of where you are in your understanding of energy work, and your understanding and your testimony even. So if somebody doesn't understand the atonement, they probably are going to be at a 3, maybe a 4. If they understand the atonement fully and you're working on your progression, but maybe you're just really struggling with a lot of negativity and contention in your life, you might be a 6. You might be like a 5 or a 6, where you're past some of those things, but you're just not ready for some of the big stuff. It can be overwhelming if you give them all of the work that we have. As you guys have seen, there's a lot of work on this program. And if you push somebody too fast, they end up stumbling and falling, and then you don't hear from them again. And that's not our goal either. So anyhow,
all right,
we can move on.
Yeah, why don't we just give you
Let's test for Kathy. Kathy, are you level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? Okay, so there we go. We just filled out the first one. Okay.
All right, hold on. So as we go through this, why don't we just focus on working through these ones as a small discussion on each of them.
And then we'll move through a little bit faster.
Yeah, below that, we'll just test yes or no kind of, and then go with it from there.
Okay.
So the subconscious one it's going to be much higher typically. And our subconscious, if you can only imagine what our subconscious knows, it is incredibly intelligent. And so a lot of times it's going to be much higher. And so eventually at some point, those, may end up merging after this life. But for now,
yeah, that one, I have to say, it's hard for me to fully understand that one too. We've just been told that we need to kind of separate those two out, because it's kind of a little bit deeper.
So I want to give you a heads up on this too. When we go through and muscle test this, you need to look for symbology in it. All right. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times Melissa and I will begin doing our muscle testing, and we'll find that there's like maybe a repetitive number of 2s in there, or maybe a 3 or a 5. And then we'll test the vibrations in kind of the same thing, and maybe also in the frequencies. So look for some symbology. And if you see that and understand that, that's what your subconscious is actually saying, hey, this is what I want you to focus on.
So sometimes we'll ask, was this a symbolic number? Because that says 432. What is the next number? It's a 1.
All right. Okay.
There we go. We just got a symbolic something. Like if you get a whole bunch of 2s or a whole bunch of 3s or a bunch of 3s and 7s, which are very, godly.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like, oh, okay. Well, what's your subconscious trying to tell us? So what I'm going to ask is this a symbolic number for your subconsciousness? Is this your literal level? Okay. What is your actual spiritual subconscious level, Kathy? 40,000? 44,000. I'm not going to get the exact details unless you feel like we need. That's symbolic too. Isn't it the 44,000? 144,000. Okay, I was thinking that was symbolic too.
Yeah, we'll just go with that. All right.
And so you guys, that number goes up and down. So don't be worried if next week the number is. So this is her. That's her symbolic.
Which right now I'm not really sure what that would indicate. So we'd have to take a little time to analyze that.
Yeah. So anyhow, like I said, it kind of goes up and down. So if you're having a really cruddy day, let's say you and your husband aren't getting along, you feel really cruddy, like your energy is really low, your level can go down too. It's nothing bad. It just shows that you're struggling that day. You could be struggling with the agency, with the atonement. You could be struggling with who you are, with loving yourself, with, it's not It's not a competition. We had somebody who kind of stayed at 200 for a really, really, really long time. And she just kept on saying, I'm reading my scriptures. I'm doing all this work. Why is my level not changing? And she was getting so frustrated with it. But when we kind of took a step back and you stop focusing on that level, and she was working, we did the healing realm and a couple other, the miraculous opportunities with her. And all of a sudden her level skyrocketed, and it stayed skyrocketed. And she felt it. So that's what it is usually feel this level. Like it's within you. It's about who you are. I'm kidding.
So one more thing about this real quick is as you begin working with somebody, it kind of gauges the level of their progression as you see the numbers increasing and the healing taking place, it'll be reflected within that in those numbers.
Yeah. Okay, you ready to go in titles?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go to titles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the website because you can't quite fill this out. I don't have like a checklist on the thing because that would be kind of complicated. So we're going to Miraculous Opportunities. And you guys, I hope that this is organized enough for you. We have a marketing professional that wants to kind of come in and make it more organized. And I'm like, yeah, but everybody knows where it is now. Let's not change it up. He's going to try and help us to make it a little bit easier, but we'll see what happens there. So you come here to the bottom right under titles. And Kathy, are you okay with me saying this out loud so everybody kind of hears what they are?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. So we're just going to go through each one and just see, and we're going to record all of them, whether they're dormant or active, just all of the titles that she has. Okay, Kathy, are you sleeping or awoken angel? Nope. Kathy, are you a defender? Are you a protector? Are you a guardian? Oh, guardian, yes. Are you a healer? Yes. So go ahead and copy both of those. Are you a giver? Yes. Are you an empath? Yes. Okay, copy all 4 of those. Are you, Kathy, are you prepared? Yep, that one too. Kathy, are you a leader? No. Are you a guide? No. Okay, so copy those. Are you a virtual? Are you a seer or a revelator? Okay.
Hello.
Hey, they're all in the same spot. How easy is that?
Yeah.
I got them all.
Good.
Okay. So we'll go back. Don't put them there. Don't put them there. Go down. Sorry, I'm a little particular about keeping it organized.
It is best to put it down below.
So I usually put it just above the homework, and we'll just put it all there. So sometimes I'll go ahead and list it out: preparer, empath, giver, healer, and guardian. And we'll go ahead and write that up here for your client. But I'm just going to put right now C below. So when you're explaining this to who you're working with, sometimes it takes a while. Tell you the truth, some people are perfectly content with the whole session just learning this list. Like we have so many people who just eat this stuff up. They love learning what their special gifts are, you know, something that Heavenly Father has given them so they can really learn how to magnify that. And then really testing, you can get really specific. Are you awoken to this, or is this still dormant? So my daughter has, most of hers are all dormant still because she just got too much going on in her life, you know, too much difficulties with just being a teenager, let alone being awoken to these callings. And Heavenly Father doesn't give you more than what you can handle. So you might have 5, but maybe only 1 is active right now. And the reason why we say awoken is just because it's like being awoken to a new calling or a new gift or another part of yourself, you know, and anyhow. So when it comes to copying and pasting, I've had a few people ask these questions, okay? When you are going through your chart and you're helping somebody, and let's say you go to the affirmations chart and you're copying an affirmation, I don't want you to have to start from scratch and type everything out. I do not want you to have to, you know, type all of these calling, these titles out and do that because you're trying not to copy it or trying not to any of that. That is different. Please feel free to do this for your clients. Feel free to copy what you need to copy. As you're going through an energy release, if something really touches their heart and they cry, copy and paste it and bring it down here to their homework and send it to them to study. Can I give an example? Do you think that'll throw us off too much? I'm going to give you guys a quick example hopefully without throwing you guys off too much. When you're in here I'm going to go to the dark energies, and then I'm going to go to the self-rejection, self-perfection, because you guys, the addiction one has like the most beautiful curse removal. You will cry your eyes out. And the self-rejection, self-perfection is really long and really detailed, and it can take quite a long time to really get through, because you talk about self-care, you talk about a life vision, you talk about boundaries, like really helping that person to love themselves. So I'm going to just kind of come down here. Perfect place. Here's my favorite line, okay? I choose to release the assumption that others are judging me, and I choose to forgive those who actually are. I love that. Isn't that so silly that I love that so much? So what I'll do is I'll copy that, and I'll go to their chart, and I'll put it under their homework, and I'll paste it right there so that they have that for them to continuously repeat. Because maybe it meant a lot to them, and they go, oh, can I have that? And you go, well, I'm not sure. I'm not supposed to copy and paste. It's one thing to when you're working with somebody, please feel free to do it when you're helping somebody like this, okay? You're not like giving them everything and overwhelming them. Okay. Vibrations. Okay. And when you do this, I really highly recommend that you know it well enough that, and not even really, you just like fill it out. If you, like I said, if you're trying to explain it as you go, this is going to take you hours to fill out. But if I just went through, I can fill it all out in like 5 to 8 minutes. You know, I'm just quick, yes, no, 1, 2, 5, 6, whatever. So vibrations. Do you want to explain vibrations and I'll muscle test them?
Okay, sure. So the vibrations basically what your spirit, the energy that it puts out. And so that's kind of the most basic, simple answer.
Nice.
And so with that in mind, the more pure your body is, and all those blocks, the more energy that's going to be flowing in your body, and the higher those vibrations are. So as your body becomes healthier and stronger, and your spirit, your mind and body, and emotional aspects, it's all going to affect the vibrations. And once again, it's going to be one of those things that you can look at and identify and track for the progression of it. And so, as you know, you're going to see a difference between like month 1 and month 4, and those vibrations should be much higher.
So I want to say, in the energy releases, like we usually invite the vibrations of the sun. We invite in a lot of healing energies. Those will raise your vibrations too. But I want everybody to kind of think of the rice experiment. Everybody, I think I saved a picture on my phone. There was a woman on Facebook who was doing the rice experiment, and I thought, oh, I want to do that. And so I took a picture so I wouldn't forget. And I'm so glad I did, because I want to show it to you. Okay. Come on, phone, I love you. Okay, so I hope the glare isn't too bad. So she has 2 jars, and each are filled with cooked rice. And one jar has a bunch of positive things: joy, hope, peace, love, forgiveness, patience. And the other jar has hate, contention, conflict, misery, frustration, the negative stuff. And then she has another, like the top of the jars, she kind of simplified. Come on. I love you, phone. I love you. Okay, it'll work that way. Anyhow, it says hate and love. Okay, so she made it really simple. And so her and her children are doing a family home evening experiment where the hate jar, they're mean to it. They're angry. They're frustrated. They say all their bad stuff to the hate jar. And then the love jar, they're loving. They do prayers. They offer it lots of positive affirmations. And you guys, it's just rice, right? But rice grew out of the ground. It has a vibration. It has a life source. And so what they're doing, and we've seen this countless times of people doing this experiment, and my brother commented on it once when I put it on my page, and he's like, oh, that's just hogwash. That is not a true experiment. They're not control groups. They're not scientists. Like, that is all just a fake thing to make you try and think that your thoughts, matter. So I'm going to do this week. I haven't told Paul yet. I was going to get the kids together. They were at my parents' house yesterday, so I didn't get to do it. But I was going to get the kids together. And we have rice in the fridge. Put them into jars to, canning jars, and do the same experiment. And then I want to show you guys what it looks like. So we'll see what it looks like in a week. But I don't think you put it in the fridge. I think you leave it sitting out and then see the differences. So that's your vibrations, right? When you fight in the kitchen, your food, or if you argue with kids or whoever, your food, it's going to bring down the vibration. It's going to bring down that life source. And like your water, we've talked about like the vibrations of water a lot. And I don't know how much we talked about this in our classes, but if your water's vibrations, and I want you guys to test the water before you drink your water to see what the vibrations are. And if the water vibrations are like 20, you're probably dehydrated, and you're probably going to stay dehydrated. You could drink 1 billion gallons, maybe not 1 billion gallons a day, but let's be honest. If you drank 20 gallons a day, you probably would still be dehydrated. However, when we do a lot of, like we started playing hymns, so we have a water filter and we have hymns that play next to our water, and our vibrations of our water went from, the tap water was like 12, and the filtered water listening to hymns all day, it's like 800. Or 750 or something like that. So the vibrations went up significantly just because, and I don't allow anybody to fight in the kitchen. And so everything in the kitchen, it raises their vibrations. And then we put some stones from outside. We muscle tested to see which stones to put in. We put those stones in our water, and the vibrations went up to the multi-thousands, and there were no parasites remaining. Because most water has parasites, most food has parasites, most everything that we put into our body has parasites. It's gross to think about, so we just pretend we don't. Otherwise, we would like never drink water again. So our vibrations, really, it's a result. Like, you don't force your vibrations. We don't do the whole, I raise my vibrations to 5,000. Like, it is the result. You have a cause and effect. The effect is going to be your vibrations. So we look at the cause. We look to see what is causing your vibrations to be low. And if it's negative, that's when you call us. Because that's not something that Heavenly Father has given us permission to teach yet, because it's a little too dark. And I learned it in a vision, and it's just kind of wonky, but it works. So thank you, Heavenly Father. We love you too. So I'm just going to leave rice experiment there. You guys don't have to like tell people that. I usually use the Ghostbusters explanation, because Ghostbusters too, they have the pink slime, and they do the same thing, the anger and the love. And they see how the slime reacts. But the rice experiment is probably a little bit more professional instead of using a movie. That's just kind of a goofy explanation. Okay, frequency, and I'll test them.
Okay, so the frequency, ideally, it's going to be at 7.83. And this is just the frequency of like a pure spirit where nothing negative is influencing it.
Doesn't the Earth vibrate at a frequency of 7.83?
Yeah. Well, it used to, until a lot of the electronics in the atmosphere just kind of shifted that.
Yeah.
But
you guys can research that. That's all over Google if you really research the frequencies like that.
It's called the Schumann resonance, and that's the resonance that angel will resonate at, and also like the frequency of God, what his spirit resonates at. So it is the most pure frequency that you can have. So the closer it is that you can get to that, the better. And just like the Earth is influenced by so many things, we're also influenced in this world by whatever is out there, the toxins and the EMF waves and etc. Our own emotions. It's all going to play a part in the frequencies. But it's just another one of those things where as you muscle test, after several months, you'll most likely see it get closer and closer to that 7.83.
Okay, so let's move on. So we always test to see if your spirit's 100% in your body. And if the answer is no, we want to see what percentage your spirit is in your body. So you guys remember, this is a to-do list. You don't have to fix each one as you hit it. We fill the whole thing out, and then you can go back and start troubleshooting. And the reason for that is because, like, the symbolism of some things, if we test and see the spirit's 20% in her body, and her spirit and her heart, right now she's in one piece, but if it said that she was in shattered or in 5 pieces or something like that, we need to understand some deeper causes. It's not just about inviting her back. There's a reason why her spirit is wounded right now. There's a reason why your spirit would not be 100% in your body. And that's when we want to troubleshoot. And if your spirit is shattered, and if it's in multiple pieces, and it's not really more than just a couple percentages in your body, we usually want to check for destructive energy. And if they don't have destructive energy, great. If they do, you want to do that first. Because if you've ever had somebody where their spirit's constantly detached from their body, a percentage detached, or their spirit's not 100%, not in one piece, in multiple pieces, and it just keeps happening over and over and over, and you're like, this is so frustrating, it's destructive energy. Time and time again, you got a 95% chance it's destructive energy. And that's all on the chart. When you go to energies, it's one of the categories, and it's spelled out for you. There's a couple of paragraphs for you to learn about it. You can read it out loud to your clients so that they can learn about it. And then you go through the peace offering to bring down that intensity, because the destructive energy is coming from someone else. And because of agency, we can only do so much. So we're offering peace to the other person. We'll go through the destructive energy maybe next Saturday, and we'll actually go through that release, because that one's pretty important for you guys to understand how to do that, because that tends to be, 50% of the time, that's our first session with somebody, is destructive energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
So that's a pretty important energy for us to go through with you guys. So I'll take note, and I won't remember. Wait, I won't forget. I think they're both correct. Okay, so I think we got spirit in one piece, heart in one piece, energetic wounds.
So let's just go through and just do the numbers on this, or yes or no.
Well, can we explain why someone might have energetic wounds real quick? And then we can get a little bit further.
Okay.
So does anybody have any idea? I would really like to hear your thoughts. Does anybody have any idea why Kathy might have some energetic wounds right now? And if so, just unmute yourself and jump right on in and tell me.
Okay, so let me explain it.
That means that was a good question, because we need to teach this.
So let me explain a couple possibilities. So if you have any negative cords with somebody else, sometimes that can cause some energetic wounds. Here, yes, and right here, you have 2 open energetic wounds that can also influence that. But there's a lot of possibilities. An open energetic wound could be even the result of curse or sabotage. So after
hang on. The open energetic wounds are different than energetic. So we're just focusing on energetic right now.
So the energetic wounds, they could also be influenced by the self-destructive tools, which include the curses and the sabotages. And so
you may not be able to fix it right away. That's why we got to do the whole chart first.
Yeah. And so the going through the steps in healing the spirit in the preparatory steps,
right,
you'll be able to go through those and see what you need to identify to heal them.
But you do need to see what else is going on before you do that, because we're dealing with a whole person, a whole body. But we do have, here we go, healing the spirit right there. That's the one that you would end up clicking on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are a lot
of
possibilities as to why you have energetic wounds. So anytime your spirit is broken into multiple pieces, you're also going to have energetic wounds.
Yeah.
And so identifying all the specific reasons as to why, you don't necessarily need to know that.
What does it feel like?
Well, a lot of times if you have an energetic wound, you'll just lose energy. And so
really lose energy.
And depending on the severity,
go from bubbly and annoyingly chipper to I need to sleep. I'm so tired. And he's like, can we muscle test? I'm like,
but
thinking I'm sleeping.
I'll give you another example of an energetic wound that I've given multiple times before, just as a reminder. So when we release energy and remove cords, we need to do it in a specific manner. Otherwise,
we learned the hard way, y'all.
Yeah,
we used to do some other programs, and I'm the one that ended up like falling asleep every 5 minutes because we were doing so much. We were constantly, you know how sometimes you're told with some other programs that once you hit your limit, you can't keep doing anymore. Like your body says, that's it. I need processing time. That's due to energetic wounds. Your spirit is going to need 8 days. It's not necessarily 8 days to release the energy. And if that ever happens, you guys, muscle test and find out, what does that processing time mean for this person? Is it just that your body is working on releasing this energy, or is the spirit actually wounded and you have an energetic wound that was created due to this release? So we don't have those. We worked our buns off with Heavenly Father to make sure that that would stop happening, because I couldn't do it anymore. Like, the energetic wounds were killing me. I couldn't. We learned, like, my processing time was like 5 million years. I'm telling you, we worked really hard so that that doesn't happen anymore, so that you can release tons and tons. We could technically sit down with you for 1 straight week, sun up till sundown, do all the work that needs to be done, teach you everything, do all the work with you, assist you in releasing all negative energy, making all of the shifts and changes in your life, and you will not have any of those energetic wounds. So most people can actually work with us for 3 to 4 straight hours, and they don't get exhausted. They don't get tired. They're not worn out. They don't need a break. They actually feel energized. And most of the time we have to, like, he's going, okay, we really got to shut this down. It has been going on for too long. We got to eat. Kids need us. We got to go. I'm so sorry. And they're going, oh, but I want to do so much more, which is so amazing, because previously, most of the time we would be exhausted after 30 minutes and we couldn't keep going. So, so those energetic wounds, just being aware of that. And I'm not dissing any other program. I'm just saying, be aware of what that means. If you do have that processing, if you do have, that exhaustion, like if your client comes to you and says, I am so tired after a session, don't say just go drink some water and go get some rest. You want to check for energetic wounds. You need to be, maybe I missed something, and then quickly go, do you have any energetic wounds? Oh, you do. We need to heal your spirit, because that's what that is. We need to heal your spirit, heal your energy, and it works just like that. Like, it's like night and day. I'll be going, no, I don't want to heal my energetic wounds. I just want to sleep. And then we'll do it. I'm going, I'm actually feeling fine. I'm shocked that I was so tired. I'm back to being me again. Okay. I'm sorry about my soapbox, but that was important. Okay.
All right. Shall we continue down the list here?
Yeah. So the open energetic wounds, what's different is that they're usually, and I kind of have a hard time with how these two differ, to tell you the truth, but these are typically the ones that are active, that is more of a relationship issue. So if you have somebody in your life that maybe you're struggling to get along with, or maybe there's a part in your life that is causing you a lot of discord or a lot of troubles, you probably will have an open energetic connection, which is not the same as an open, an energetic wound. It's an open energetic connection, which also is a wound. And so we want to test for how many you have, and if they're safe to be healed. And sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes it's like, I have 5, 3 are safe to be healed, 2 are not. And so what that means is that it's like that the trauma is still active in their life, and
some forgiveness needs to take place.
Yeah. Some healing dynamics needs to go down. Okay. Kathy, is your governing meridian flowing? You guys, if anybody has any questions, or if I say anything that is just too loaded or too confusing, please tell me, because we are trying to cover a lot of different topics here, and I want to make sure that they're thorough enough before we move on.
Well, yeah, but let's go ahead and just stick with the yes
answers. Yes,
as in those here.
Hey, are you grounded with the earth, Kathy? Yes.
Oh, well.
Do you have any rebellious spirits in you right now? Do you have any rebellious spirits connected to you right now? I bring to light all our rebellious spirits that are influencing Kathy at this time. Do you have any rebellious spirits in you? Do you have any connected to you? Do you have any negative cords? Yes. Rebellious spirits on those cords. Okay, so just rebellious spirits on cords, but that's it.
But that's.
And somebody's got a comment. Let's go on up to the top. I just want to say how unbelievably amazing this is. Oh, Lorraine, I love you. I need to give you like a really big hug. You guys, it feels so good when we hear that because we have worked so hard to do this, and I believe in this so strong, and I've seen how much it has blessed my life and the lives of those that we've worked with, and I love that we get to teach you guys, and I can't get enough of it, and I wish I could like shout to everybody. Everybody just check this out. Like, you can't go wrong. Just check this out. This is so amazing. You won't regret it. So thank you for that positive feedback. I appreciate it.
So for self-destructive tools.
Okay, Kathy, do you have any self-destructive tools or dark influences? No. I bring to light, I'm going to bring everything to light. I bring to light all energies, all negative cords, all rebellious spirits. Heavenly Father, please shine the light of truth upon Kathy, and I bring everything to light.
Everything within this list.
Do you have any and the grid. Do you have any self-destructive tools? Do you have any mind subconscious suggestions? Kathy, do you have any intimidation? Oh, we have intimidation. Yes. And Kathy, do you have any beacons? Yes. Do you have any conflict lenses? Yes. Do you have any brain foggers? Yes. Do you have any walls? Yes. Do you have any shields? Yes. How many more do you need more? Do you need, I just got a finger up my nose.
How many does she have?
How many shields do you have, Kathy? 2. How many more do you need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She needs 7 more. No, 7 more. Okay. Kathy, do you have any walls? Do you have any blocks? Yeah. What percentage are you living in the past, Kathy? More than 10, 20?
Let's see. Did she go through the wall removal with you?
I think so.
So
then we can get kind of specific as to what that is. Then.
Well, this right here for you, Kathy, you probably don't have that contracted.
Let's check and see if it's contracted. Kathy, are any of your walls, it brings like all contracts. Kathy, do you have any contracted walls or contracted blocks? No. So maybe they are either recent or maybe it is more of a tangible block.
Well,
so we could kind of get past that. She said she had some blocks. So.
Yeah, the physical blocks, the tangible ones would be down here.
So it's just some more energetic blocks that we need to get past. And it could be like the self-sabotage mountain. That's a big block. That'll be in step 11 though. Okay. So living in the past, present, and future. What percentage are you living in the past, Kathy? More than 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 41, 42. 41 in the past. 41 in the past. My hand went down on 42. Sorry. Okay. What percentage are you living in the present, Kathy? More than 5, 10, 5, 6, 7. So 6.
Oh, sorry.
What percentage are you living in the future? More than 10, 20, 30, 21, 22, 23, 22. Okay, so they're not going to add up to 100. And so the remaining amount is state of denial. You guys, here's the funniest story. We did this with my dad. And here, look, and let me show them. I'm going to show you guys where this is really quick, okay? When you're on the program, and it was so funny when I did this with my dad. I'm thinking about doing this like on a free training class, our mentoring, marketing, whatever dude. He was telling me to do like quick little snippets of free stuff for other people. And I was thinking like the resetting your time and negative cords and something like grounding. Some of that stuff is really nice to do as like a freebie on Facebook to get people aware of what we're doing. Okay, the resetting your time and understanding, that's what we're doing with this past, present, and the future. And this has a beautiful visualization. You test living in the past, present, and the future before you do it, and then you test it after to see the change. And then we reset the body clock. So when we did this, we were testing my dad, and it was very similar to these numbers, right? Living a lot in the past and some in the future and just a little bit in the present. And this is like where your mindset is, you know, when you're really, have you ever gone to the grocery store and you go, oh my goodness, I don't even remember driving here. I was thinking so much about a conversation I had and what I should have said, or I'm thinking about the next thing that I need to do, or, you know, he gets to get a calling tomorrow at church. I have no idea what it is. He'll be finding out. That's why they want to talk to him. That's always why they want to talk to you. So, So anyhow, that's kind of what it means, you know, when you're mentally not really living in the present, where you're kind of constantly thinking about something else. And that's what creates like a multi-dimension, or it creates some of these other deeper issues. So we really want to try and keep this in the present. I see a huge difference for me. I'm a whole different person the more that I'm living in the present. And so I love going through that visualization often. So the state of denial. We were talking to my dad and we were testing it, and his all came up to like 70 or 75 or 76 or something. And he's like, oh, well, you know, I don't live mostly in the past or in the future. I live mostly in the present. I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, oh, funny. And he goes, well, that doesn't add up to 100% either. And he's like, so what about like the remaining 20%? And I said, it's in a state of denial. And he like practically fell on the floor laughing. And he was like, I guess you got me there. Because he had just said, oh, no, I don't do that. And then I'm sorry. You have to laugh, right? You've got to have fun with it. So when the times shift after you do this visualization, then the remaining percentage, you're living in a realm of understanding. And it really does. It kind of helps you to open up your mind to God's perspective, because time is simply how we gauge. It's like our own mortal measurement of time, of everything that we need to do. Like, it is very much not how Heavenly Father measures time. We have a very different understanding than what He does. So the more that you're in a state of understanding, I find that, you know, between this and the ESP and removing all the dark energy, that like my understanding and my communion with Heavenly Father and all of that is just a whole different, it's on a whole different level. It's so much deeper and so much easier for me to understand. Okay. Knots in the umbilical cord. We're just going to simple yes or no. I used to do how many, and it gets a little complicated. Kathy, do you have any knots in your umbilical cord? We still do, huh? I think we did that on the last self-set, but you know, I don't know if she got to watch that one yet, so maybe that's why. So I am getting, she still has knots in her umbilical cord. But we also have an umbilical cord with our children and with our earthly mother and with our heavenly mother. So that could be it also, is that there's these 3 different categories. And that's also in preparatory steps under umbilical cord, okay? All of these, there's a write-up for every single one that we are filling out right now. So that's why it's your to-do list. You can literally say, oh, knots in the umbilical cord. I am going to, so, you know, you're testing somebody. You test that they have knots in their umbilical cord. You come to the preparatory steps. You click on, that was attractive, huh? You click on umbilical cord. You can explain this in that short little thing to your client, or just read it yourself, and then you go through it and you're done. So we got the umbilical cord with your own mother, with your children, and then this one is the one with Heavenly Mother. So you've got, bam, it's done. Once you go through it, and then once you're done, I do an update, and I'll just put, I usually do like a little arrow, and I'll just say done or no or removed after you've completed that one, because you want to keep track of what you do. Otherwise, and I like to keep this initial consultation form. Every single time I do a session, I want to update this too. And I know it sounds like a lot of busy work, you guys, but I'm telling you, it helps you to organize the work that you need to do so clearly. It really does help. Okay. Okay. The ESP connection. What percentage is your ESP connection open, Kathy? 100. Yay.
Excellent.
And so really with the umbilical cord, if you've already done that one, Kathy, I would probably just take a look at the one with your children and your mother.
Yeah.
That could be what you're gauging. But if you haven't done the one where you've removed the knots in the umbilical cord of Heavenly Mother, then go through, read it, because it's very critical to make sure that you're doing it in those steps. because it's not like a cord or a connection that we typically deal with. It's like an umbilical cord, where you get that nourishment and that loving energy that you have connected between you and your family. Okay, how many spiritual senses do you have, Kathy? More than 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 51, 52, 53, 52.
Very
The
good.
normal is like 38.
Yeah.
So you're awesome.
We want to reach at least 38. And there's not much that we have control over with that. It's just basically
A
a blessing given to us by God as we exercise faith in Him.
Yeah, that's true. Some of the stuff, it's more of measuring and watching how it shifts. Because after you've been working with somebody for 6 months, if they say, I know I've made some changes, but I'm not really sure, what, I can't really quite remember what all I was struggling with back then. Do you have it in your notes? You can say, yeah, let's bring up your initial consultation form. And you can say, I've made sure that, we finished everything on the to-do list. And then you can go back through and you can check her vibrations. Well, we do that every single appointment. But, you can go back through certain things like these to see if she's been able to keep them away. Because all of this happened due to our life, due to agency, due to our trials, due to everything that we've gone through. So the more aware that you or your client is, and I keep getting a finger. What is it? No hand?
Yeah, I got that.
You got that too? Anyhow, so the more aware that your client is of what needs to happen, what needs to be done, and the more that they are doing this with you. We want to do interactive appointments. That's why our energy releases are so long, they're so detailed, and there's so much for you to read. It's because we want you to read it out loud to your client. I only keep quiet on the curses unless it's a visualization because we don't want to scare them off. Some people love it and they want to hear it. Some people are a little bit frightened by the idea, so we keep it just kind of, we don't want to scare them off. We want to keep it a beautiful spiritual experience. We want them to walk away feeling good. Okay, so Kathy, do you have a manager? No, do you have a contract manager? How many balls do you have? More than 10, 20, 30, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 25. 25 balls. Perfect. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, Kathy, do you have any toxins in your body? Do you have any external toxins, earthly toxins, self-created toxins, godly? All of them, including godly.
Okay.
So what I usually do to make it easier, I'll copy and paste just the ones that you do have. I'll say yes, and then I'll just kind of put it over here. So I'll show you guys when we do the pathogens what I mean by that, just to kind of organize it.
Yeah, we probably won't have time for
The
those.
toxins today. We'll see. Kathy, do you have any pathogens? Okay, brain slate all pathogens in your body. Do you have any parasites? Do you have any fungus? Do you have any mold? Do you have any bacterial? Do you have any viral? Do you have any yeast? Do you have any protozoa? Do you have any Lyme? So just say yes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. Can you copy? Paste. There you go. And then we'll just take the, yes, honey.
Can you hold out for 1 second?
Yes, sir. What do you need? I love you.
Did you get scared?
You sure
You
did.
scared me.
6 years.
Okay. So no more. Thank you. No more. Take it outside if you're going to do that again.
By the way,
Yes. Okay.
I'm going to Dad.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, we'll try and set that up. Okay.
Dad is coming in 5. Dad is coming.
Okay.
Physical blocks.
So physical blocks. Do you have any physical blocks? Yes, Kathy. Do you have a vanishing twin? I'm getting a yes.
Okay.
And organs, do you have any organs functioning below 10%? Any organs functioning below 20%? Do you have any organs functioning below 30%? Do you have any organs functioning below 40%? Okay, so she has some organs functioning below 40%. I usually, when they're below 50%, I want to note them. Well, she has some functioning below 40%, so all basic. What's the lowest functioning organ that you have? 31, 32, 33, 34. So 38, 37 would be the lowest functioning. So the reason why, what I would normally do, because you don't want to get too detailed on this, otherwise you could be stuck for a long time, and you're not a doctor, so you can't get too overly specific.
Yeah.
But
we want to focus on sometimes, like let's say a liver is
Right.
at like 1% or something. You're like,
Right.
okay, let's work on this.
So if they tell you I'm having a lot of abdominal cramps, or I have a lot of constipation, or I get a lot of headaches, or I have a lot of muscle pain, that's what you're going to want to focus on. You know, we're not going to try and play a game of guessing here. So what you're going to do is you'll muscle test. Okay, a lot of abdominal pain. Let's see. Is it lower abdomen or upper abdomen? Oh, it's upper abdomen. Okay. What's your gallbladder functioning at? What's your liver functioning at? What's your stomach functioning at? You can even do a whole system. Like if you're finding it's stomach and intestines, you could just do, okay, let's just do digestive system. What's your digestive system functioning at? And so that's going to be something that you're going to just once again gauge. The more that you do these to-do lists, the things on your to-do list, the more that you can gauge to see, you know, what the functioning will change. Because sometimes you could do 3 or 4 big releases and then the organs are still in the same location. And then you hit one specific intense energy and all of a sudden the thyroid goes from 30% functioning to 100% functioning, just like that. And then they call you, and we had one lady and we did the parasite treatment with her, and she goes, oh my goodness, I like some really nasty stuff, but her body was expelling parasites. And we were going, oh, that's awesome.
Hungry.
I don't know what to think of that. You are hungry? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of him while I do the energies. Okay.
You don't need that. It's pretty hot.
Okay. So, hang on one second here. Okay, I need to reply to my ex. He is going to be picking up my 6-year-old and taking him to the Science Museum, so I need to make sure that that is getting set up. Okay, Alex, you're right. I just told Daddy he could pick you up, so make sure you eat first, okay? All right, love you. Okay, so I want you guys to see how this bottom part, it's filled out, but it's made, there's still a lot of stuff that needs to be done, right? We still need to work on the intimidation energy and the beacons, and some beacons are living. Hey, you guys, let's try and keep it quiet, Alex. Just a little bit longer. Thank you. Sorry about the distractions. He's usually either at Dad's house or Grandma's house, but there was an Amber Alert overnight at like 1 in the morning or something, and he panicked. It woke him up, and he panicked, and he decided he wanted to come home. So he is just, you know, 6. So, okay, one more time. You guys, all of this work is mostly in your preparatory steps. Some of them are going to be your toxins. And so when, like, if you're doing the self-sabotage steps with us and you see us say, work on your toxins, work on your pathogens, when you have a list like this and you already know what needs to be done, you literally just read it. Like, we have tried so hard to make this mostly, like, some of the compounds aren't done for you, and I'm sorry. There's so many to do, and it can become a little overwhelming even for me to have all this completed for you. So under pathogens, let's say she needs to do the parasite treatment. Go to pathogens, click on parasites. All of these are done for you and ready to go. And you simply go through the steps. And then at the end, you'll just need to muscle test the time. Like, this is going to be like your repetition for group B. How many times a day, how long at a time, and how many times a day. Because you don't want to just invite it in once. You want to invite it in long term. So just to let you guys know, like, everything is there. It's all ready for you. So that when you're working with somebody, it's so ready for you to just plug it in and go. So here's your grid, okay? Your grid is going to be your bigger work. And you're going to go to your energies. And you know, I'm going to see if I can make these both fit on the screen. I think that there is a way to share the screen a lot faster, but I am not a technology person. Okay. Still not perfect, but you guys get the idea, right? So we can still kind of share, and I can go back and forth. And normally you won't have the video in the way also. So what I'll do is I don't necessarily want to play a game of catch. We used to do that a lot when we did work. We would basically just play a game of catch, constantly saying, well, what's causing that? What's causing that? What's causing that? And what is the underlying cause of this? And what is that causing this? And you can get stuck playing this game of catch for a really long time. So what we want to do is we just want to find out all the darkness. I want to know all the darkness that is influencing me. Now, if you have, I'm going to use one example of somebody I'm at the energy conference who is listening right now. If you have something funky happening to one of your nails, like your nails turning black, and you're going, why are both of my nails on both hands in the same location turning black, and there's no signs of fungus, there's no signs of mold, it's not due to an injury, and it's happening to my toes in the exact same spot and the exact same location too, like what the heck? You can absolutely go through and say what's causing this. However, I highly recommend having this chart put together so that it's so much easier. You don't have like a whole bunch of information on the website confusing you. Then you just have a simple to-do list to go through. And you know what to actually focus on, what you need to do for you or whoever you're working with. So when we're filling out this chart, what I do is I try to make it simple. And there are some shortcuts that we can take. But we're going to go ahead and go to the dark energies, okay? And this always takes me a little bit of time, so give me a moment to go through it all. Okay, Kathy, do you have any, bring to light all dark energies? And Kathy, do you have any dark energies? Do you have any dark energies in A? Do you have the addiction dark energy? Do you have the control dark energy? Do you have the denial dark energy? Do you have the discouragement? And I like to give the category when I type it. So the dark is the category. Okay, so I usually want to say discouragement dark, just because if there's a discouragement sensory energy and you just write discouragement, you're going to be like, oops, which one was that again? And it gets confusing. So if we're in the dark category, the dark energies, I usually will put that word with it, okay? So do you, Kathy, do you have the hardened heart dark energy? Yeah. Kathy, do you have the obese dark energy? Do you have the sexual dark energy? Okay. Okay, I know you guys can't see that because the video is in the way of everything that I'm doing. Actually, that worked. It moved to the bottom. I don't know where the video is for you guys, but it moved to the bottom for me. Okay. So let's see. Kathy, do you have the chaos dark energy? Do you have the dark energy? Yes. I know that sounds silly, but it's a dark category of the dark type. Do you have the deprived dark energy? Do you have the distorted dark energy? Does Kathy, this one's kind of wonky because it's hidden. It's more something that we repress and we hide away. So I'm going to ask an angel in Kathy's presence. Does Kathy have the hidden dark energy? Yes. And every now and then you'll go through and something will pop up that wasn't originally. And it, you know, it can be a layer of the onion that you're peeling over. It could be something that they're going through that they created, because we are going through life. We're going to hit trials. We're going to have traumas. We're going to have ex-husbands. We're going to have complications. You know, it just happens. Okay, Kathy, do you have the offended dark energy? Do you have the suicide dark energy? Do you have the cloud or the pit? Okay. Okay. Kathy, do you have the deceived dark energy? Do you have the despair dark energy? Do you have dragon dark energy? Do you have the haunted by traumatic events? Kathy, do you have the revenge and death energy? Oh, that's a good thing. Kathy, do you have the victim dark energy? Okay, is that, Kathy, do you have the victim dark energy? Okay. For some reason, I feel like there might be something there. Maybe Kathy, maybe you've already worked on releasing it. And if so, I want to bring this to light. If one of these energies are living, and quite possibly half of them are going to be living energies just simply means it's still a current mindset, a thought process, a current event. So let's say that, I don't want to go too deep. Let's say the discouragement dark, okay? Let's go ahead. Does the discouragement dark living, Kathy? No. Okay, so that's a good thing. Releasing, it's going to be fast, it's going to be easy, it's not going to come back. But if you go through and let's say the defeated dark energy is still living, then you can definitely still release it. However, because that's going to help you to make a shift. Like it's going to be really hard to make a change in your life until you've released these things. But knowing that it's living, also, since you're going through the self-sabotage steps, it'll help you to understand that making some of these internal changes is going to assist you so that maybe we don't keep recreating some of these lifestyle patterns. Like if you typically get in the car and somebody merges in front of you and you slam on the brakes and you honk your horn and you're like, I can't believe that person did that to me. That's a pattern. That's a thought process. That's a lifestyle change. You weren't actually victimized. However, you feel as though you were. So it doesn't matter if I release your victim energy on you every single day until you not only release the energy, but you also make the changes in your life to recreate healthier patterns. Then it's like they just go hand in hand. I'm sure you guys understand that, right? How it goes hand in hand. You can't exactly make the change. Okay. You can make the change without doing the energy work, but it's a lot harder. It takes a lot, like you have so much resistance, there's so many blocks. But when you do them side by side together, and that's why in these self-sabotage steps, we have all the homework assignments, is because I want you to do them side by side because you have the most change, the most benefit. Alex, I need a kiss. I need a kiss and a hug real quick. Just a real, hey you guys, hold on one second. He's leaving. Okay, I love you so much. Have a great time, honey. Be nice to Oakley, please. Uh-huh. I can't hear you. His answer all the time. Okay, so we just finished victim dark energy. Okay. So Kathy, do you have the codependent dark energy? Do you have the defeated dark energy? Do you have the destructive dark energy? Do you have the dream dark energy? Did we already go through this? No. Do you have the inherited contract? Okay. Kathy, do you have the self-rejection, self-perfection? You're going to love that one. Okay. And then, Kathy, do you have the 2D energy? Yes. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo, that's a lot. 4 total. Okay. And that's in the advanced training section. So as soon as you guys are ready for that, just let me know and I'll teach you it. I'm going to try and teach that one-on-one though. Kind of tricky. A lot of the advanced stuff, I may have to do like a separate group of classes just for the advanced stuff. Right now we only have one person who is in the advanced section and we're just doing one-on-one work with her. But I would love to see more of you guys over there. So just let me know when you feel like you're ready. Okay. And it's like we're using a lot of like spiritual sight too. So if you want to practice using your spiritual sight, hop on over to the advanced training and we work on a lot of spiritual sight there. Okay, Kathy, do you have the confused dark energy? Yes. Do you have the demonic dark energy? Do you have the discouragement and suicide? Do you have the fear dark energy? Do you have the no will to live dark energy? And do you have the sensory dark energy? Okay, and then do you have the overwhelmed dark energy? Yeah. So if you guys have ever tried to release these previously and you're like, but I've released no will to live, just not with, not with your program, but we've released the no will to live. The reason why you might still have it, what it is there is a rebellious spirit and a contract and the curse and the energy. So the reason for this, we're kind of explaining this is, what was it? I guess it wasn't on a video that we were teaching, but Lucifer has gotten really kind of tricky with this whole I am the God of this world bit that he does. So when somebody, let's say that they kill themselves, let's say somebody commits suicide and they can become a wounded angel, they can become a rebellious spirit. They can become like they still have that. There's a little bit of flexibility as to what really happens based upon in the afterlife. But let's say they commit suicide because they're gay and they don't feel like they belong in heaven because they feel as though they have to have a male-female relationship to be accepted by God. So they don't feel as though they belong in heaven. So, but they also don't want to attack. They don't really have the desire to hurt other people. They just don't really feel like they belong. And so they're kind of in this place of suffering. So Lucifer goes, fantastic. That's basically exactly what I want. I want them to continue suffering. So in order to do this, what they're going to do is, let's say that you have the no will to live energy and you're feeling that way. I don't know why Lucifer has the right to contract this. However, when Eve was tempted in the garden, and when the earth fell, and when he said he was the God of this world, all of a sudden his laws also are influencing us also. And so one of those laws are that if we basically choose to experience these emotions that create all this darkness, that are against the gift of agency, or a gift, against part of God's law, even though we don't look at it that way, but that's in the spiritual realm what it is. He gets us on his laws. So what he does is he contracts the energy, not you, sorry, the energy is going to be contracted then to the rebellious spirit and the curse, and everything is like tied together. So this keeps the rebellious spirit suffering and you suffering, because your emotions and your energies are feeding off of each other, because they feel like they don't want to live and you feel like you don't want to live. And so the energy just keeps refreshing itself, keeps feeding itself. So we have to remove the energy plus the curse plus the contract, and either assist the rebellious spirit or go through the steps with the rebellious spirit. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up as to why sometimes, if you've released it in the past, why you might still have it. And some people say, why did things come back? Well, because there were just a few other components that have been missed, because the world wasn't ready for it, quite frankly, in the past. This was given to us because the world's ready. Like, I'm so excited that the world is ready and that everybody's ready to take this next step. And okay. So this is where I'm going to start cutting some corners, because when you do the fear energies, you got to get specific. I mean, the dark energies. I'm sorry. When you do the dark energies, you got to get specific. You want to sit down with me? Thank you for feeding him before his dad picked him up. I appreciate that, because he was being lazy and lumping around and not eating. Okay. The reason why you can kind of cut corners is just because once you understand what's in each of these categories, I'll show you. Okay. In the fear energies, I know that we have it all lumped in one step. We don't have it in multiple categories. Once you click right here on fear energies, it's one thing to do. So I'm just going to quite simply, does Kathy have the fear energy? Yes. So we're just going to do that. We're going to move on. Does Kathy have any sensory energies? Yes. How many? 1, 2, 3. So she has 2 sensories. Okay. And you're welcome. Now, when you're ready to go and through the sense, those are harder. I absolutely am proud of one of you guys did the sensory energy this last week, contacted us and said, oh, I did the sensory energy twice on so-and-so. And guess what? You have a typo. And I'm going, I am so proud of you. That's it. You're going on the website as a practitioner. Like, if you can do a sensory energy, you're a practitioner, flat out. You're done. You're ready to go. We are not hard on you, you guys. If you want to start practicing this and you want to start being a practitioner, we are not hard to impress. As long as you have a pretty good idea as to what you're doing, you know where to find everything, you're confident, you can muscle test, and you have the desire and the faith, you're pretty much going to get put on the website. So just reach out to us and we'll follow the spirit. We'll do what Heavenly Father tells us is best. So when you're ready to do the sensory energies, you'll click on it and you'll go under that category. And I was showing you guys before that we have a grid, and we're working on organizing this grid so that they're all clickable and everyone has what to do. And that this gets complicated. You guys, if anybody is ready for us to train you in the sensory energies and you want to learn the deeper, I just recommend, we should probably tell him not to do that. I highly recommend just going through all of these, just go through the steps in the release, okay? Otherwise, way too complicated. It's just gonna get too hard. Okay, so then we're gonna test. Kathy, do you have any destructive energies? Didn't we already test to see if she did? Okay, Kathy, do you have any destructive energies? No. Okay, was there any more on this page? Or is that the last category? Okay, it just shrunk up. I wasn't sure. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I love my computer. Okay. Does Kathy have any veil energies? How many? 1, 2, 3. Oh, only 2. Yay, Kathy. And the veil energies are basically whenever we sin against the higher law, meaning, if you look at another man and you think lustful thoughts, or if you, something along those lines. Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So let's say, you have another man walks past you in church and you're like, oh, man, if only, or another woman, let's just be a little bit more realistic here. And let's say another woman is talking about her big, beautiful house, that she's home taking care of the children, that she has all of these blessings, all of these amazing opportunities, and you're really jealous. And so you're coveting your neighbor, right? And you spiritually understand that your thoughts are offensive to God. So we kind of put up like a veil, kind of like, please don't look at me. I'm really embarrassed and I'm really ashamed of what I'm thinking right now. Okay. So then trauma energies, what we'll do is we also have a grid that we are working on linking everything. Oh, I guess we don't have the grid up yet. So these are the ones that are already done. Okay, we do have more traumas that we're going to work on putting in a grid. So Kathy, do you have any trauma energies? Do you have any emotional trauma? Do you have any physical trauma? Do you have any reoccurring trauma? Do you have any sexual? Okay, so we have emotional and physical trauma. And I know that this sounds like there's so much, like you're going, oh my goodness, this to-do list is so long. But you know what? We're doing cleanup from a long period of time. Once we get to a point of maintenance, it's so easy, okay? And this is why we help each other. Translucent is just one. You click it and it's got one thing in there. So that's much easier. Do you have any translucent energy? Okay, do you have any sleep energies? And do you have any confused energies? Okay, Kathy, how many confused energies? 1, 2, 1, 2, okay. One confused energy, so let's do translucent. And one confused, and one sleep. Actually, did I say 1, 2? We only have one sleep right now. Let me go ahead and go to the confused, because I'm not sure if we need to know any more information on the grid. Since there's only one, it's not going to be too big of a deal to figure out which confused. Do you have the confused in A and B and C? Control, sexual, it's not on here yet then. Is that correct? Okay. We don't have the title for it yet then.
It's not too big of a deal. As soon as you are able to identify the title of it, then you just plug it into the template and replace the word template with that word.
Yeah, once you guys are really comfortable with, I don't know, with kind of working it out, making those changes, and anyhow, once you start getting really familiar with that, you'll be able to see why we have the template included, that you can absolutely get as creative as you possibly need to get to be able to get more accomplished. Right? So if we just tested her confused energy is not on the grid, we could say, okay, Heavenly Father, what is it then? What is the type of confused energy that I have? And then if you understand it and it comes to you, then there you go. You've got it. And you can jump light years ahead and be able to just kind of, take the bull by the reins. Okay, so that's your consultation. Your initial consult is now filled out. Yes, it took a while, but that's your first session with somebody. And as you're doing it, you're probably going to, if you have rebellious spirits, cast them out. Just seriously, just giving them this list, the guardian, the healer, the different titles, and giving them a list of what all is wrong and what all needs to get done. There's so much value that people see this as a full out session. Even though they don't walk away with an energy being released yet, they love at least knowing what's wrong and what needs to be done.
Yeah. And if you're able to work on their spirit, getting it into their body and one piece, that's also pretty good. So
yeah, if we find destructive energy or demonic energy or something like that, usually I just stop testing and we do the destructive energy release.
Yeah. So I do want to bring up maybe a couple other things that you could add to this. As we were talking about earlier, we could test like if they need to have like the core belief shift done, which pretty
Yes.
much everybody does.
That's right. Thank you.
And also the hands-on neural technique. I don't know if
Right.
you've done it yet, but it is amazing if you do it. So,
All right, we'll just do it this way. So yeah, what you can do is you can come down here and you can just test to see, okay, Kathy, do you need the hands-on neuro technique? Yes. And then you can come back here. Kathy, do you need the full release? You need the core belief shift? And do you need, well, the absorbing energy is more of a visual.
it's a technique used for
Yeah.
energy release. So,
All of those. So she needs all of those. Thank you. I totally forgot about that.
So you wouldn't necessarily put on there the absorbing energy part?
Well, you could.
Just to let you know, it's also being worked on. It's a work in progress right now, so we're updating it.
And sometimes I'll put the manager up here, because we test it down here on the list, right down in the balls and the boxes right here. But I will sometimes just put it up here, like, manager.
Yeah.
But hers is done.
But back to that absorbing energy,
My spelling is beautiful today, isn't it?
it's something that you would do for somebody else. And so it's not something that you can do for yourself. And so just to give you a heads up on that.
Yeah. Okay. So once this is done, I copy the address. I come to my email. Actually, I have to close this out. Let me make sure I saved it. And I know that this is just like another step, right? But we're going to go to compose. We're going to attach a file.
So let me kind of also talk about the blocks, Kathy. And so you mentioned that at the beginning. And so as you go through some of this work, you may notice that some of these blocks get released through the energies. But another thing that could also be affecting that is the core beliefs. Mm-hmm. So everything that we think, it all gets categorized into one of these core beliefs. If it belongs in that one, if it's positive, great. If these faulty core beliefs, if that belief gets placed in there, then it's going to continue to grow. And so shifting that into an empowering core belief, you may see some of those blocks disappear for you.
And we're going to do that in step 7 with self-sabotage. We're working up towards it. And it's still only halfway through the steps, but we're working up towards it. So you will be doing that with us in just a couple weeks, because we'll be on step 5 this next week. So you only have a couple weeks before we get to the core beliefs. But I wanted to show you guys in the session right here. Let's say that you guys are actually wanting to work with other people. I highly recommend you do what we did. We have a Gmail. It's so easy to do a Gmail account for as many addresses as you want. So make one for your, a private one just for your business, so that it's separate from your personal account. And then what we did here is I have it linked to the website, but you can link it to your PayPal address. Just your PayPal address is typically an email address that'll link it up with PayPal. And so there are, if you go into PayPal, there's tools. There's different tools that you can mess around with PayPal, where you can do that, where you can send different requests and you can link different requests. So what I do is I just come down here to the link, to insert the link, and I just, after you set it up with PayPal, you just put it in here. Just put the link in here and then figure out how you want that to be displayed. I usually just do click here. And then I put my link in. And so I have it set up so that all of our people, as soon as they get this chart, all they have to do is click here, and it immediately takes them to the website for the donation. And I can show that to you. I'm going to send this to Catherine. And I'm going to hit send. I'm going to go to my sent emails. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff. So when you click here, it takes to our web page. I'm pretty sure it takes to the web page. Unless I readjusted it. Look at that, I readjusted it. I did take it. It used to go to the web page where it would give you all the different options. And instead I put it straight to this. So there you go. And you can give them an instant, easy way to pay. Previously, I had it take you to, I want to make this bigger. It won't let me. Okay. I used to have it take them to the donations link on the webpage, and then they can kind of see how much we're asking for. But as soon as they visited this part of my page and they know like how we handle the finances, then having it just go straight to the donate page, like right here, oh, so much easier. And people will end up paying you. And you can set your price. You guys don't have to make it a donation thing like us. You can set your price. It is absolutely what you choose to do for your own business. Okay. Oh, that's right. I closed out Kathy's. I'm all over the place. So sorry. I closed out Kathy's. So we'll come back here. Okay. So I know we gave you guys a whole lot of information and we filled out a whole sheet. And I don't know if you guys can look at that and piece it all together. But as you saw, we tested mind, subconscious suggestions, self-destructive tools. When you go to preparatory steps, a lot of those things that we did yes or no are all right here. So it said she needed more shields. Go to shields, figure out which ones she needs. It said that she had a beacon. Click on beacons and go ahead and do the beacons. When you're doing this for other people, it's more rewarding. I think when I do it for myself, sometimes it feels like a mundane task. But when you do it for somebody else, it feels so good. That's why I like working with somebody is I'll do his and he'll do mine. And then you get to feel the service. You get to feel how good it feels to do it for somebody else. So it said she had brain foggers. There you go. Go do the brain foggers. And then just go back to the initial consult form and just write in there that you finished it. You don't have to put a date. You don't have to do any complication. Just done. Just flat out, it's done. It's taken care of. And then with the next time that you have an appointment with this person, right, you already have downloaded my appointment form. So you go back to her folder. I just copied and pasted it. I just did the Control-C and the Control-V, so it's a little bit easier. And then you're going to just take your notes. You're going to be like, well, we did beacons. And we did the mind subconscious. Actually, she didn't need to do the mind subconscious, did she? She had brain foggers, though. And let's say we do the self-perfection. And maybe that's all that you have time for that day. So then all that you really need to do is copy and paste. Remember how I was showing you guys a tapping sequence, or I was copying and pasting and showing where to go on the website. If you say, okay, we just did the self-perfection, self-rejection energy, and we need to do a tapping. So you link the tapping. Or while you're doing the energy release itself, you know, remember how I showed you guys in the atonement step, that whole I forgive people who actually are judging me, right? And that was a noise, but I don't know what that was. So when you come down here, I'm going to kind of scroll down. And, okay, the words, thoughts, and memories. I'm going to just copy and paste all the words, thoughts, and memories. And I'm going to put that in her chart as her affirmations. And so I'm just copying and pasting, okay? And then there you go. You've got her assignment, and maybe I'll take these all off because I say, you know what, she's not ready for that yet. Let's not push her with too much information. And then maybe I'll go ahead and add a tapping. Because there's a tapping sequence in the self-perfection, self-rejection energy. So am I going too far? Am I doing okay? Am I confusing anyone?
Yeah, we're almost.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so there are two self-rejection, self-perfection tapping sequences. So we got number 1 and we got number 2. So what I usually do is I give people a choice. Some people like to read it. Some people want to watch it, especially if they don't know where it is. So you want to share it. Go ahead and share the link. We'll just copy it. I'll put it in her folder. And there you go. You basically have, and I usually just copy and paste all of her detailed information also up there just to make it really easy. And I'll fill out these questions also. But it's just, it really just lays it out. You go back through your initial consult form like, okay, well, we've got another half hour. What else needs to be done? Oh, let's reset the body clock. And it's that time and understanding one. Okay. So then you'll just come here and you'll do it. And you'll just go through the steps because it's laid out really easy in when you come to preparatory steps. You click on the resetting your time and understanding, and you do it with your client. Just go through the visualization, complete it, and you can, just
Get it done.
Get it done. Just kind of, go through it all. And when you're working with somebody, it just makes it so easy, so organized. If somebody calls you and they make an appointment, if you ever have that like anxiety going, I'm not sure what to do. Yes, you do. Go through your initial consult form, see what else is on the to-do list that you haven't done yet, and just go through the steps. Like it's all laid out for you everywhere that you could possibly need it. So, and I highly recommend trying all this out on friends and family first, so you can make all your mistakes on the people who love you. Okay? Highly recommend it. And I really recommend just jumping in, like just getting started. You don't want to wait too long. If you wait until you feel like you're ready, you may put it off too long. So we highly recommend just the more and more you attend these classes and you see us doing these things, the more that it's going to be simplified in your mind. And then, you know what, if you need a session with us privately and you say, I'm trying my best, please help me figure this out, please reach out to us. Okay, and that's what we're here for. We are absolutely here to help you. That's what we do. Okay? So, does anybody have any questions? I don't think a whole lot of people made it to the very end of this class. So, anybody who's still remaining, does anybody else have any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, honey. If not, that's okay. Okay. Well, we love you. Thank you for joining us. Did I take too much of the conversation, or did you have anything to say?
No, that's it.
Okay.
So, all right. Well,
We love you. Have a
see you
great
next
day.
week. Bye.
Bye.